Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can see in the picture today, let's start the story of part 8 of a story where Issei was the grandson of the legendary demon hunter Dante. But before we start, please consider subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. Don't forget to check the description for more informations. Now let's get into part 8. Days passed after the attack of the Cow's Brigade on the conference between the three great powers and a battle leading to a grand showcase of strength from the Sparta, Gremory, and Citri peerages, along with the surprise appearance of Kalina Sparta, successfully fending off all the attackers from the Cow's Brigade and preventing them from taking Gaspar Vladi for his time-stopping powers. Iada residence. Morning. Issei woke up earlier than he usually does. He slowly opened his eyes to find Tiamat, and Riaz latched onto his arms while Elijah slept on his chest. Surprisingly, he didn't feel cramped as he usually did. Looking around the room, he was shocked to see that it had become much larger than before. His computer had been upgraded with the latest parts. A big flat-screen TV hung on the wall, and there were all the game consoles he could ever want. His bed was also larger, easily fitting 6 people with plenty of room to spare. It all felt so real that Issei wondered if he was dreaming. He carefully removed Tiamat and Ria's arms from his own, being mindful not to wake them, and gently moved Asia to the side. What the hell happened here? Issei yelled, waking up the 3 ladies with him. Oh, good morning, eyes, Riaz groggily said and pecked Issei on the lips. Mornin', Issei. Tiamat woke up and latched herself on his arm again. Issei-san, is it that late already? Asia stirred awake and rubbed her eyes. No. Sorry, Asia-chan. I was just a little surprised, Issei said sheepishly. It's alright, Issei-san. Asia looked lost in the room. Yeah. Riaz, did you know about this? Issei looked over to Riaz. Yes, but I didn't expect one Isama to be this quick, Riaz sighed. Place is extravagant as hell. Wonder how it looks outside, Issei said and got out of his bed. Issei's door shot open, revealing Kalina with a wide-eyed look. I say, what happened to our house? Kalina asked in a shaky voice. I have no idea myself, Issei answered, still shell-shocked at his current situation. Issei got up and prepared for his day. He, along with the ladies, went downstairs to eat and start their day off, though all of them got lost due to how massive the interior of their new home is. Finally making it to the kitchen, they were greeted with a vastly larger kitchen with all the fancy equipment that would make a professional chef drill. Kalina was seen happily cooking in her new domain in the house. She also noted that the secret basement that she had below their house was still intact. The group took their seats at the table as Kalina served them the food. Man, feels weird being in this big of a house, Issei remarked while taking a bite out of his meal. I agree, Issei-san. I always lived in smaller places. This is a little overwhelming for me, Asia awkwardly said. Riaz, Tia, anything to say about the place? Issei asked the 2. None. I'm used to this. I live in a palace in the underworld, you know, Riaz answered. Nothing much to get used to. I lived in a cave, Issei, and caves are big. Tiamat giggled. The crimson Gremory magic circle materialized in the middle of the room, revealing Serena in her business suit and Grafia in her usual maid outfit. Are we disturbing anything? Serena asked, stepping out of the magic circle. Hello, Serena, and no, you're not disturbing anything, Kalina answered with a smile. So, how do you like the new place? Serena asked. Pretty big, we may need maps to go around, Issei said, amused. That's why we're here. I forgot to give you maps when we were constructing the place, Serena said and materialized a red folder. She pulled out sheets of paper that had all the new houses, points of interest, and rooms. Here it is, your new 6-story mansion, complete with all the commodities you could ever need, including a training room that's been reinforced to the max with more power than I'd like to admit, complete with all the training gear and sparring areas, a swimming pool, an onsen facility, an underground garage that can accommodate your vehicles, and a weapons workshop in case you need to work on those guns of yours, the room we're currently in, the kitchen, the living room next to it, laundry and bathrooms, and enough bedrooms to accommodate 2 full peerages and a few spares, Serena explained and took a deep breath. Damn, that's a lot to take in, But what about our neighbors? There's no way you can build something this big out of our old house, Issei asked while grabbing his chin. We just offered them a better location to live in with a small bribe, of course, Serena said proudly. Even devils have to be devils, Issei said. Here are copies of the map, and with that, I need to go back and continue my paperwork, Serena said as she teleported out with Graphia. That was quick. I figured she'd want to stick around. Rias spoke. Well, she is the male, and getting out of your work early in the morning isn't the best idea, Issei replied. What are you going to do for the day, Issei? Tiamat asked. Nothing much. I'm gonna get Lavinia and Vali in here because they want in as well, Issei answered. Issei said as Tiamat nodded. Can I come with you? Tiamat asked. Sure, why not? Issei answered, surprising Tiamat. Tiamat and Issei got all dressed up with Issei wearing his coat for once, giving him a nice look. Then the pair took off via teleportation to the Grigori. Lavinia and Vala are seen lounging about the Grigori's lobby while they wait for their king's arrival. I wish I could fight him again, Vala sighed. Well, we are a part of his peerage now, you'll get a ton of chances to fight him, Lavinia said. True, but I can't wait for him to meet the team, Vala excitedly said. You want him to meet Kuroka and the others. Why? Lavinia asked. I just want them to know Issei since we'll be with him now, Vala answered. Issei appeared in the middle of the lobby with Tiamat right behind him. Sup? Issei nonchalantly greeted. Hey, Tia. Lavinia smiled while Tiamat gave a friendly nod. Hey. Vali stuttered. First things first, the new house is up so you two can move in, Issei proudly announced. Really? That fast? Vala said in a surprised tone. Yeah, it's the supernatural melody, Issei said. Alright then, but first come with me, you're meeting them now. Vala gestured. Lead the way, Issei followed. The two left the scene as Tiamat and Lavinia are discussing what was about to conspire once Issei meets Vala's team. Tiamat sat across Lavinia. So, Lavinia, why did Vala want the meeting? She asked. Well, she's worried about what her team will think about her when they find out that she joined Issei's peerage, Lavinia answered, earning a nod from her sister Rook. Does her team have any battle maniacs? Tiamat pried. Apart from her, I can only think of Biku and Arthur, though Arthur only fights swordsmen, which is oh boy, I can already feel that we're gonna have to go to the arena later on, Lavinia sighed. Arthur? As in Pendagene? Tiamat asked. Lavinia nodded. He has Kolai Burn and the strongest fragment of Excalibur ruler, Lavinia explained. I wouldn't worry about it, Issei can handle them. Tiamat shrugged. Why aren't you worried? Won't holy weapons damage him? Lavinia asked. Fun fact about Issei's lineage, they're immune to holy attacks despite being devils, Tiamat answered. You're kidding, Lavinia said with a confused face. Does it look like I'm kidding? Tiamat retorted with a straight face, with Lavinia sighing in defeat. With Issei and Vala, the two dragon emperors made their way to a room where Issei felt 4 power signatures. Issei noted that one was oddly like Koneko, the rest were unknown to him. Vala stopped before they reached the door. Before we go in, I just want to say, don't go looking for a fight, please, Vala requested. Relax, I don't have a hard-on for fights like you, Issei said, amused, flustering Vali. Hey, alright, come on, we can't make them wait any longer. Vali opened the door, and the two of them enter. The moment Issei and Vali entered, all eyes were immediately set on Issei. Despite him concealing his presence, the 4 in the room could feel that he was someone stronger than they are. Everyone, this is Issei Hyoudou, the guy that beat the shit out of me, Volume 1 said, garnering her team's attention. Yo, Sekuryu tape? Baiku greeted. Hey, Baiku, was it? Issei awkwardly said, yeah, surprised that you remembered my name, Baiku grinned. Greetings, Red Dragon Emperor. My name is Arthur Pendragon, a descendant of King Arthur. Arthur gracefully introduced himself. Arthur Pendragon is a young, bespectacled young man with blue eyes, chin-length blonde hair with a long braid of hair on his left side, and wears a business suit. Hello? I'm Lafay Pendragon, Arthur's younger sister, Le Fay cheerfully spoke but was still on edge with his say. Le Fay is a lovely girl with slender features, shoulder-length blonde hair and blue eyes. Her outfit consists of the sorcerer-style dress, a large blue hat with a black bow and yellow stars and a matching cape with pink flowers and a white interior. I'm last, I'm Kuroka. Wait, are you Vali's love interest? Kuroka asked, getting a whiff of Issei's scent and remembering what Azazel told them. Kuroka? Vali yelled with a flustered face, much to the amusement of Issei. Yeah, you definitely are. So Vala, what's he doing here anyway? She looked at Vala. Well, I had you guys meet my king. Vali answered, much to the surprise of her team. Kuroka pieced everything together at the mention of Issei being Vala's king. And Naya, you're a part of his peerage. What family does he belong to? Last time I remember only high-class devils get evil pieces. Kuroka said in shock. Ice. Vala glanced at her king with a sly smile. Issei sighed. We may not be officially recorded in Devil Society, but I am a descendant of Sparta. Issei answered. Are you really his descendant? I heard that his bloodline was gone after his twin sons. Arthur asked out of curiosity. You'll be surprised to find out that there are 3 that are alive right now. Issei answered. That's good to hear. Not many swordsmen are as good as the Spardas. I dare say each one of them is in a class of their own. Speaking of which, how does a duel sound to you? Arthur offered. Issei looked at his queen with a grin. See, I don't even need to ask for one. Issei chuckled. Ugh, just make it quick. Vali answered. Oh, the 2 lovebirds are already bickering, Kuroka teased. Can I join in? Baiku raised his hand. Sure. I'm down for a brawl, and yes, you can join, Baiku, Issei nodded. To the arena it is. Again. Vali sighed. Arena. Issei and Vala along with her team made their way to the arena where Tiamat and Lavinia seemingly knew that they'd be there, much to Issei's amusement. Arthur and Baiku stood across Issei where Vala is in the middle as the mediator for the bout. Not much to say, just don't kill each other. Begin. Vali stepped away. Issei stood at his spot, waiting for the duo to make their move, where both Baiku and Arthur are planning their attack. What exactly are we gonna do? Baiku asked while he hung his staff across his shoulder. I don't know, I can't get a read on him, and he hasn't even drawn his weapon. Arthur confessed. So we go all out? Baiku asked with a grin. That would be wise. Power and skill are something his kind has plenty of, Arthur said as he drew his sword. Issei noticed Arthur draw his sword and was amazed by its looks and power radiating off it. Careful, partner, another holy sword, and that's the most powerful one as well. Dreg warned. We'll manage, just gotta be careful. I may be immune to holy attacks, but you can never be too careful, Issei said as Dreg felt proud of his host's growth in battle. But that answer seems like I have nothing to worry about, Drake said. Hey, is that a holy sword? Issei asked. Yes, it is the holy sword Coliburn, Arthur answered. Coliburn is a 2-handed sword with a golden edge, a cross-like guard and a round pommel. I see, let's start for real now, shall we? Issei said as he summoned Severance. Finally, Baiku excitedly jumped in. Baiku jumped up to a considerable height, and had his staff extend to hit Issei. Raging bang extend. Baiku chanted. The staff extended to an unnatural length, easily peaking at 20 meters. The attack came crashing on Issei at breakneck speeds. The attack hit the ground with Issei narrowly avoiding the attack, causing it to make a large crater on the field. Arthur saw an opening to attack Issei's flank, but was parried by Issei, who equipped Rudra on his left hand and countered the attack. Now Arthur! Baiku yelled. Arthur nodded and the two beelined their way to Issei in a rush to take him down. Baiku performed an overhead smash, and Arthur thrust his sword straight into Issei's chest. Issei caught and held on to both combatants' weapons, resulting in the two fighters having trouble regaining control of their respective weapons. Not bad. You two have good chemistry, Issei said as he pushed back both attacks. But the Vali and the others, he's not even taking them seriously, Vali said in a flat tone. Upon hearing her remark, Kuroka and Lefei had disturbed looks on their faces. So, he's that strong? Lu Fei asked. Yeah, Vali shortly answered. By how much? Kuroka added. They already lost the moment the battle started. Vali cryptically answered. If you want a more accurate scale, ask Team out there, she fought to say firsthand. He only dealt with me for a short time when Zez asked me to take care of Kakabil. Vala added and pointed at Tiamat. Kuroka glanced at Tiamat with a hint of hesitation, as being near the strongest dragon king didn't do much to ease the tension she was feeling. Tiamat noticed the look and prepared an answer. Oh, he's strong all right. When he fought me, I'm pretty sure he didn't use his full power. Not even close, Tiamat answered. But Issei, Baiku and Arthur. A significant amount of time has passed ever since the battle began. Issei was doing his usual shenanigans with being passive in the fight for the most part, constantly dodging and deflecting Baiku and Arthur's strikes with Royal Guard or outright parrying them with Severance. The Vali team duo was surely getting worn out, and Issei wasn't even breaking a sweat. Did we even hit him once? We've been swinging in for 30 minutes. Baiku yelled in frustration. I'm afraid to tell you that we haven't, and he hasn't gone on the offensive yet, Arthur remarked. So, this is what a monster is, Baiku said with a grinning yet exhausted face. Now, don't get all tired, things were just getting fun. Issei taunted the duo. You think this is fun and all you've been doing is blocking and deflecting our blows. Why don't you go on the offensive? Baiku said, getting even more frustrated at Issei's antics. I was just doing what any outnumbered guy would do, but if it's what you want, you'll get it, Issei said as he prepared to dash in, though, in his mind, he wanted to make the fight fun. After hearing Issei's declaration, Baiku and Arthur stood their ground, their eyes fixed on Issei as he charged towards them. Their muscles tensed, ready to counter his attack. Issei moved with lightning speed, striking out with a flurry of blows that the duo struggled to keep up with. Sweat dripped down their faces as they desperately tried to block and dodge his attacks. Is this all you've got? I expected more from the two of you, Issei taunted with an amused tone. Ikki gritted his teeth, his frustration mounting. We're not giving up just yet. He grinned at the thrill of the fight. Arthur nodded in agreement, his determination matching that of his partner. We've got more than that, he spoke. Issei grinned, feeling a thrill of excitement at their resolve. Good, I was hoping for a challenge. Let's see how long you can last. The three of them continued to exchange blows, their movements becoming faster and more intense with each passing moment. The air crackled with energy as they pushed themselves to their limits, each determined to come out on top. Issei continued to exchange blows with Baiku and Arthur, both of them refusing to back down. However, it soon became clear that Issei was too strong for them. He moved with incredible speed and precision, striking out with devastating force that the duo couldn't keep up with. As the fight wore on, Baiku and Arthur began to tire, their movements becoming slower and more sluggish. Issei, sensing their weakness, launched a final barrage of attacks that left them both lying on the ground, panting and defeated. Well, that was fun, Issei said with a grin. Baiku and Arthur looked up at him, their faces filled with respect and admiration. You're really something, Sekiryu said, a hint of awe in his voice. Indeed, the legends about your heritage are true, Arthur added, nodding in agreement. Issei chuckled. Thank you. You both fought well, but I think we all know who the winner is, he confidently said. Baiku and Arthur nodded, acknowledging Issei's victory. They picked themselves up from the ground. They knew that they had just faced one of the strongest opponents they would ever encounter. Issei along with Baiku and Arthur went back to Vala and the others, where they were met with a mixed bag of expressions. I'll be going now, Vali and Lavinia, the new place is up, you two can move in if you want, Issei said and teleported out. You're right, Vali, he is strong, that was the 2-on-1 as well, Kuroka said in disbelief. Him defeating me wasn't all for show, Vali proudly spoke. And you're really into him? Do you really want him that bad? You two are rivals, no? Kuroka asked. We are, but opponents like him are hard to find, so, of course, I'd want him for long, Vali retorted. Then you won't mind me getting in with the action, would you? Kuroka teased. No way, there's too much already, Vali said with a flustered face. Oh, don't worry, Vali, Dragons when mating could go on for days, so there's plenty in a size tank for all of us. Isn't that right, Albion? T-Match chimed in, earning a grin from Kuroka. That is true, but I still don't want my host to mate with the Red One's host. Albion spoke. You really can't change my mind, Albion. Vali deadpanned. If you wish to, Kuroka, join us in Issei's peerage, that way you can keep tabs on Vali here. Tiamat offered, sensing the sisterly vibe she was getting from the two interacting and the huge potential Kuroka has for Issei. Kuroka's expression bogged down after hearing the idea of joining Issei's peerage. I don't really want to be controlled by anyone or be used, Kuroka said with a solemn expression upon remembering her time being in another devil's peerage. Tiamat remembered that Kuroka was the SS-class stray devil and that most of the underworld was after her head. Look, Issei isn't like the devils that you were with before. He sees the peerage as something he treasures. I understand your situation of being a stray devil. It's something we can work around on. I have ties with one of the Mao. Tiamat pitched her offer again. After some time thinking, Kuroka made a decision, but she needs to clear a few things up. I'll join you, but I need to speak with your king first. In private, Kuroka said. That can be arranged. Tiamat answered as she cast the communication magic circle. Dia? Issei said through the line. Issei, I need you back here in the Grigori. Kuroka wants to speak with you in private. Tiamat answered. All right, I'll be there. Issei cut off the line. At a moment's notice, Issei teleported to where Tiamat was. So where is she? He asked, looking around. Right here. We'll take this somewhere else. Kuroka answered. Kuroka led Issei to her room where the two sat across from each other. So what's this about? Issei nonchalantly asked. Issei, hideout. Why do I smell my sister's scent on you? Kuroka asked in a serious tone. Sister? Issei said in confusion. Short white hair, gold eyes, petite figure, ring any bells? Kuroka described Koneko-chan. You're her sister? Issei asked. So they call her Koneko, but yes, she is my sister. Kuroka answered. Why aren't you with her? Issei asked. It's to protect her, Kuroka answered with a sigh. How so? Issei added. Kuroka sighed again. I'll tell you, but only because you know her, Issei nodded. Shiren and I are the last of our kind, the Nikoshis, and our kind specialized in senjutsu and yujitsu. After our parents died, we were both orphans, and to keep us alive, I joined a high-class devil's peerage and did whatever it took to keep my sister Shiren safe, even if it meant enduring agonizing experiments to create a super devil. When they tried to hurt her, I couldn't let it happen. I killed the devil who wanted to harm her, and now they call me a stray devil, a monster. But I did it all for Shiren, to protect her from the horrors of this world. Kuroka's voice shook with tears as she spoke. Issei couldn't hold back sniffling at Kuroka's story. It moved him so much that he made it a goal to clear her name in the underworld, but he knew that he had to be cautious based on what he heard from Kuroka. Kuroka, I promise you that I will clear your name and have you back with Koneko-chan. Issei looked Kuroka straight in the eyes. But how? They won't believe whatever it is I say. Kuroka said in a shaky tone. I have my ways. Issei reassured Kuroka. Kuroka recompensed herself. All right, I believe you, but how is Shiren? She asked. She's safe with Rias Gremory and is in her peerage. Issei answered. Kuroka's eyes dilated as anger filled her entire being. What? Why is she in a devil's peerage, and what have they done to her? Kuroka said in anger as her power burst out. Take it easy, Kuroka. I did tell you that she's safe with Rias. She isn't like the guy you told me about. She treats all her servants as family, and the Gremorys are well known for that. I can assure you that she's safe. Issei answered, managing to calm down the raging Nekishu. All right then. So do I get in your peerage now? Kuroka asked. Are you sure? Issei asked. Yes, I'm sure. You're the only one who can get me back with my sister and a possible lover, Naya. Kuroka at Issei with half-lidded eyes. If you say so. But don't you have an evil piece in you? Issei wondered. Yes, please get it out of me. Anything to get this horrid reminder of my past out of me. Kuroka said in a desperate tone. All right, we'll try this. Issei pulled out a bishop piece. I'm pretty sure that I'm stronger than your former master. This should overpower the piece inside you and destroy it. Issei said, coming up with the idea. Do it. Kuroka answered. In the name of Issei Sparta, I command thee, Kuroka, offer thy soul to me and become my bishop. As he chanted as the piece was absorbed by her, and two black and cracked pieces ejected from her. Kuroka felt as though fate had given her a second chance. After the turmoil of her past, she found refuge with Vala and her team, but life had felt stagnant since then. Now with Issei and the promise of being reunited with her beloved sister Sharon, Kuroka felt a newfound sense of hope and excitement. For the first time in a long time, she allowed herself to dream of a life where she could be with the one she loved, surrounded by a sense of safety and belonging. Kuroka pounced on Issei and held him in a tight embrace. Thank you, Issei. Anytime. Issei reciprocated the embrace. As they held each other, Issei tenderly ran his fingers through Kuroka's hair, eliciting a deep sense of affection within her that she had never felt before. As Issei continued, Kuroka couldn't contain her joy and let out a soft purr, making it clear that she was enjoying Issei's touch, the latter fighting his urges to keep it in check. Are we done here? Issei asked. Yeah. Let's go back to Vala and the others, Kuroka answered. Before that, let me cast something on you, Issei requested. What is it? Kuroka asked. It's a spell that will allow me to dig through and replicate your memories. If I can, we can present this to the Mayo and hopefully clean your slate. With your consent, of course, Issei said, preparing the spell. Kuroka was hesitant to let Issei peer through her memories, but agreed nonetheless. If that's the price to see her sister again, she will gladly pay. All right, Kuroka shortly answered. Good, Issei said, casting the spell. Issei took his time picking out the memories that he deemed important and relevant for what he will do once he gets a meeting with Serena or any of the other Mao. That should do it. Thank you, Kuroka, Issei said. Kuroka walked up to Issei. No, thank you, Issei, she said in a satisfied tone. The pair went out of the room. They went back to Vala and the others, where they found the duo of Baiku and Arthur awake after their fight with Issei. How did it go? Tiamat asked, seeing the smile on Kuroka's face. Tia, I introduced you our latest addition to the peerage, Kuroka, Issei proudly said, surprising everyone except for Vala and Tiamat, who expected this outcome. It has a catch, doesn't it? Tiamat asked, figuring things out when she sensed the spell that was cast on Kuroka. Yeah, and we're going to Magu for this, Issei said in a serious tone. Wanna go now? I can get a Juka to meet us, Tiamat suggested. Good, but let's get Serena in the mix too. This concerns her sister's peerage too, Issei replied. Alright, let me talk to him, and I'll be back, Tiamat said as she teleported out. What's that about ice? Vala asked. We're clearing Kuroka's name, Issei answered. Are you crazy? They won't listen to a word you say if it's about her, Vala said. They will. I have evidence right here, Issei said, presenting a memory hologram. But why? She asked. This concerns a junior of mine in school, and I'm doing this to avoid future problems if we don't take care of this right now, Issei sternly said. Alright then, I'm just hoping for the best. Vali sighed. Ice, what made you start calling me that? Issei teased. You already know, dipshit. Vala playfully punched Issei's arm. Oh, and you also copied me by giving up part of your body to Albion, Issei snickered. Shut it, I need more power to beat your ass someday, Vala said. I don't think so. After all, dear Vala, imitation is a form of flattery, Issei said in a flirty tone. The two were lost in their own world as everyone in the room watched on as the two dragon emperors converse among themselves, giving the scene the smile. Especially Vala's team. They haven't seen Vala smile like that. They now see why she joined him, and they were very happy for her. Aren't you two adorable? Tiamat said as she returned. Hey Tia, so are we gonna meet them? Issei asked. Yeah, but they need Kuroka's presence as well, Tiamat said. Alright, Kuroka. You're coming with us, Issei said as he prepared a teleportation circle. Kuroka complied and went with Issei and Tiamat as they went to the underworld to meet with the two Mao. Vala, how do you think it'll go? Lavinia asked. It'll go well, it's ice, he'll find a way. Vala said. I hope so. Lavinia replied in a concerned tone. Underworld, Serena's office. Issei teleported just outside Serena's office along with Tiamat and Kuroka, where they immediately felt the tension and knew that they had to be careful with their words if they want their plan to succeed. Issei knocked on the door. Enter. Serena's voice was heard. Welcome, Isaac-kun Tiamat, Serena said with a smile, but Issei knew that it was only there for a few short moments. Greetings, Ijuka spoke, earning a nod from Issei. So you want to clear SS class stray devil Kuroka's name? Serena asked in a serious tone. That's it. Issei constantly spoke. Why? Serena followed up. Well, she's a part of my peerage now, and I'll do anything to clear her name. If you don't mind me asking, why was she labeled a stray devil in the first place? Issei asked. Simple. She killed her master out of being drunk from power. Serena answered. I see. So everything was misunderstood, Issei said. What do you mean by that, Issei-kun? Ijuka spoke. Lucifer-sama and Beelzebub-sama, please look into here. I think this will give you an entirely new answer on Kuroka's case, Issei said as he presented the memory hologram to the two Mao. Very well, Serena said. Serena, Ijuka and Grafia all investigated the item Issei gave them, and he was correct. Kuroka did kill her former master, but for a different reason. Serena, recognizing Koneko in the hologram, immediately connected the dots. Kuroka is Koneko's older sister. Koneko was almost executed for being affiliated with Kuroka. If not for her intervention and taking her in, she would have been dead. But she still had her doubts about the matter. Ijuka, can you see if the hologram is tampered with or not? Serena requested as Ijuka nodded. Ijuka analyzed the item, even using his magic to really get into the nitty-gritty. He was surprised to find that it has not been tampered with. It was all real. I see no form of tampering here, Serena. This all came straight from her memories, but it's your call in the end. Ijuka admitted. I see. What she did was still a crime, however. I understand the circumstances that led to it. Stray Devil Kuroka, your status as a stray devil has been revoked, but you will still be monitored for a short while, Serena said, much to Issei and Tiamat's relief. We will also be conducting an investigation to ensure that this type of incident does not happen again in the future. If I may, Lucifer-sama. Kuroka spoke. What is it? Serena asked. Here's an old journal of my former master. This is where he wrote all his experiments, Kuroka said as she presented said journal to the Mao. Ijuka was the first one to inspect the journal. So her master was a researcher from the Niberius clan. I didn't think that any of them was capable of doing such cruel things, Ijuka said in a disgusted tone. Just a question, Kuroka-kun, why did you join Issei-kun's peerage? Serena asked, dropping the stray title immediately. I believe that he's the only person that can bring me to my sister, Shiren, and I thank you and your sister for taking her in. Kuroka said respectfully. Very well, off with you three, Serena said as the Sparta Purangel ported out. Well, there goes his peerage again, each pieces of it all strong. They may even give mine a run for their money. Serena said amused. I agree. Should we even allow him to compete in the raiding games? Ijuka said with a chuckle. We should, not many people even know of his peerage, and it's about time for a shake-up in the games, don't you think? Serena giggled. Grigori. The trio of Issei, Kuroka and Tiamat teleported into the Grigori where Lavinia, Vali and her team are waiting for the result of Kuroka's case. So, how'd it go? Vali asked. She's clear, Issei said. Thank goodness, Vali said in relief. That's everything then, I'll be going now, Issei said as he began to teleport out. Red Dragon Emperor. Arthur called out. Yeah? Issei replied. I would like to have a rematch with you soon. Well, one way we've grown stronger. Arthur spoke amused. Sure. Whenever you're ready, Issei said as he got out. Well, I'd better get going too. There's much to explore in Issei's home. Oh, Vala, Lavinia, Kuroka, you're free to move in with Issei if you wish. Tiamat said as she teleported out. Saying no would be dumb, of course, we're going. Vali excitedly said, Splendid, let's get our stuff. Lavinia said as she and the other members grabbed their belongings. The trio grabbed everything they own and stored it in Kuroka and Lavinia's pocket dimension and said their goodbyes to their teams. Hey, are you really gonna go, Vali? Leif tearfully said yes, but we're still a team, okay? Vali said, comforting the little witch. Hey, alright, goodbye. Leif said, managing to calm down. Farewell, you three. Arthur waved. Tell your rival, I want to scrap with him again, Biko said with a chuckle. Yeah, goodbye. Vali said as she, Kuroka and Lavinia took off. So how do we get to him? Vali said, and you sense his power? Kuroka asked. I would if I could, but the dickhead always conceals his powers. Vali sighed. But Tiamat's signature is in Qua, that better be where she and Issei stay, Lavinia suggested, sensing Tiamat's power. Oh yeah, let's follow the trail then, Kuroka said. The three of them used magic to fly and conceal their appearances and followed Tiamat's power signature. Hyoudou residence, Bali, Lavinia and Kuroka arrived at a huge mansion where all three were slack-jawed at the extravagant mansion in front of them. The mansion was grand in size, looking very out of place with the regular houses neighboring it. The structure was cream and paint and had peaked, black roofs. The three of them were sure that this is Issei's home. Yeah, this is definitely his place. Lavinia deadpanned. Let's see who answers the door. Vala walked up to the door and knocked. The door opened, revealing Kalina. Who is it? Kalina said, looking at the three girls in front of her. Vali, Lavinia and Kuroka were shocked to see Kalina, all of them thinking that she was a female version of Issei. Issei, when did you learn how to shapeshift? Lavinia asked. No, I'm not Issei, I'm his mother. I'm assuming you three are in his peerage. I saw two of you, but not the one with cat ears. Kalina answered. Oh, I became his servant earlier. Kuroka answered respectfully. Knowing Japanese courtesies, she had to be a representative for Lavinia and Vali. Alright then, come on in. This house is way too big already. Kalina gestured the three to enter. Vali, Lavinia and Kuroka complied and entered and were presented to a living room where they saw Tiamat lounging around. Tiamat, noticing the three girls, decided to strike up a conversation. Welcome you three, I'll get you all settled in. Issei's out with the Gremries, training them, though he should be back soon. Tiamat answered. Tiamat situated the Grigori girls in rooms next to each other. All were nearby Issei and Tiamat's rooms. Kuroka noted that the rooms they were given were too big, but she couldn't complain. Here are maps of the entire place, and you all should be good to go. Tiamat handed out maps to the three. Wow, this house has everything, Vali said in admiration as she read the contents of the map. You said it, wanna hit the onsen? Kuroka said excitedly. I want in too, Lavinia said. I guess we'll be the ones breaking it in, Tiamat said as she joined the Grigori girls. The four members of the Sparta peerage shared a leisurely bath in the Hyoudou residence's mixed hot spring, having a rare opportunity to relax. Ah, this feels great, Naya, Kuroka remarked. You said it, I feel so spoiled right now, Lavinia giggled. Yeah, I feel like a true queen. Vali stretched as she stretched to release tension. We're pretty lucky to be the ones to get in here first, Tiamat said, floating in the water. Tell me, girls, why did all three of you join? Tiamat asked. I'm gonna keep it short. I was genuinely attracted to him, like I want to be with him all the time. I don't know why or how, but he stirred something in me. Lavinia was the first to answer. He knows my sister, and he's the only person I can trust when it comes to her, and through him, I'll finally be with Shiran again, Kuroka answered. I wanted to fight him for the rivalry, then out of the blue I just started feeling things for him. Whenever I'm near him, I just want to stay with him, and if I don't hold myself back, I might just pounce on him for a laugh. Vala answered, earning giggles from the girls. It's definitely your instincts, as a female dragon. Well, part dragon. Whenever a female dragon finds a mate, preferably a strong one, the female will submit to him. As you said during the meeting, and his say happens to stronger than all of us, so it makes sense when you feel things around him. Tiamat answered. Tiamat felt Issei's presence nearing the mixed baths. Speaking of which, looks who's coming. Tiamat pointed out. What a view to arrive in. Issei entered the scene only wearing a short towelette on his hips. Issei soaked himself in the onsen. Ah, that's the stuff. Issei said, taking on a very relaxed position. So, how do you like the place? Issei asked, looking at the Grigori girls. Despite having everything, there's really not much to say apart from how amazing this place is, Lavinia answered. It's a cool place, feeling spoiled for once. Vale answered. The rooms are too big for my taste, but I'll manage. Kuroka answered. Good. Issei smiled. The room had been quiet for a while, mainly because of the girl staring intently at Issei as the steam from the hot water moistened his skin, making it shimmer and highlighting his muscular figure. What's the matter? Issei asked. You. Kuroka answered in a seductive tone. Alright then, wait me? Issei said in confusion. Yeah, hot stuff. Vali stood up and took a seat next to Issei and pressed her head on his left shoulder. So, how was your time with the Gremries? Tiamat asked. Went well, I'm especially focusing on Gasper. He's got the most potential in Ria's peerage, and Kuroka, if you're wondering, Kon Shiren's doing fine, she's slowly getting stronger, Issei said. I see, I just hope to see her soon. Kuroka smiled. From what the Nekasha said, Issei had an idea. He wasn't sure if it was going to work, but he'll give it a shot anyway. Well then, any of you interested in getting into Ko Academy? Issei asked. I'll pass. I'm way over it. Lavinia giggled. I was only homeschooled, but sure, I'll give it a try, Vali answered. I'm in too. Kuroka answered. Alright. I'll get you 2 inches, Issei said. Issei, do you have any plans of getting any of the missing devil arms? Tiamat asked. Now that you mention it, I think we'll look for Balrog and Nevan. They're the last 2 weapons, so why not get them in one go, Issei answered. Alright. Where were they last seen again? Tiamat followed up. Issei pulled out the list from his pocket to mention. Let's see. Balrog is in Berlin, Germany, and even is in the Philippines. Issei read from the list. You think we can do it today? It's still afternoon. If we split up, we can get both devil arms by nighttime. Tiamat proposed. Alright then, I'll go to Balrog with Kuroka, you 3 go after Nevan. Issei said. You got it, Tiamat said. Right after we're done soaking in here, this is too good. Issei said, sinking deeper into the water. Issei and his peerage all soaked in the onsen for another half hour and made their preparations to collect the last 2 devil arms. Everyone ready? Issei asked as his peerage nodded in response. Issei, how does Nevan look again? Tiamat asked. An electric guitar with dark purple features and a scythe form. Oh, and if ever it's in its demon form, it's a demon with long red hair and very pale skin, Issei answered. Alright, we're off then. Tiamat said as she teleported with Lavinia and Volume 1. Let's go, Kuroka. Issei said as he and Kuroka teleported out. Berlin, Germany. Issei and Kuroka arrived at their destination, but to their surprise, they couldn't sense the demon or devil arm. Kuroka, can you find us tracks of it? Issei asked. Yeah, I picked it up already, Kuroka said. The 2 followed the trail until they reached the forest and went to the deep end of an isolated area and were presented with an oddly placed cave where they reached the strongest point of the trail. Well, this sure is weird, guy probably made it, Issei remarked. So, the wait was worth it after all, a gruff voice boomed from the cave. Are you Balrog? Issei nonchalantly said. Yes, are you a descendant of Sparta? Balrog replied, I am, and I heard you were once with my grandfather Dante. Issei said, yes, I was, I grew strong with him, but when he died, my flames and my power dwindled with his demise. Balrog solemnly said, I see. I'm here to claim you in his name. Will you join me? Issei asked. I will, only if you prove your strength to me. Balrog walked out of the cave revealing all his form. Balrog appeared to be a giant demon with 2 big horns on its head, yellow eyes with slit pupils, long arms with oxidized metallic claws giving it a titanium finish, a fiery straight tail and 3-pronged feet, All over his body are cracks with fading fire energy. What do I have to do? Issei asked. Just hit me with all your strength. I don't have much fighting capability at the moment, Balrog said, puffing out his chest as it glowed with energy. All right. Issei transformed into his dragon form, shocking Balrog. Issei reared his fist back and summoned the boosted gear, boosting it 20 times, and punched Balrog straight to the gut, blowing him back and destroying his cave completely. How's that? Issei asked, reverting to his base form. Balrog chuckled and got up and out of the rubble slowly. Now that was amazing. Tell me your name, boy. Balrog excitedly asked. Hyoudou. He proudly answered. All right, Hyoudou, I am yours to wield, Balrog said as he began to glow. Balrog manifested himself as a pillar of flame that crashed onto Issei, alerting Kuroka, thinking that the demon betrayed and burned Issei alive. Issei, Kuroka fearfully said. It's all right, he's just transforming, Issei said as the flames dispersed. Issei came out of the flames with Balrog equipped. The gauntlets and pauldrons had a bluish-silver finish and one of its yellow eyes on each backhand of the gauntlet, and an oxidized finish on its tips. The greaves had a bulky look with their toes having a pointed end with the same oxidized look the gauntlets and pauldrons had with the horns. Amazing, you don't even need to switch between blow mode and kick mode. Balrog spoke from the devil arm. One thing is, say, you need to hit a target 10 times to activate ignition when it's active. All of your attacks will have my fire's power. You may think that my flames are ordinary, but it is not. My fire is derived from hell itself. No magic can extinguish it or any conventional means. Balrog added, I'd expect it to be heavier, but it feels light. It's like an extension. Issei noted. Issei used transfer on the devil arm, immediately turning on its ignition. Balrog suddenly burst into flames as the weapon radiated its fiery energy. Whoa! Issei said in admiration. That solves the problem. But with ignition now active, try throwing a punch. Balrog instructed. Issei did as he was told, and amidst the punch being thrown, particles of the pauldron dispersed and condensed around the fist Issei was punching with, creating a girthier gauntlet that is sure to deal massive blunt and fire damage to anyone or anything hit by it. Issei jumped the air and spun mid-air, leaving a trace of flames after the kick. Once he landed, he performed various moves from Muay Thai, Taekwondo and Capoeira. Man, this is fun. By the way, can you transform it into something else? I can't really have you in my pocket dimension or you'll die, Issei requested. How does a pair of earrings sound to you? Balrog said. Yeah, that works, Issei said. Balrog complied and turned himself into a pair of earrings with a flame-shaped exterior and yellow eyes occupying the center of each earring. Cool, Issei said as he wore the earrings. Is that all? I was worried for you back there, Kuroka said, approaching Issei. I'm fine, my kitten. I'm all right. See? Issei patted her head. Kuroka blushed after hearing Issei call her kitten. Hey. All right. Can we go back now? She asked. Yeah. We can. I can also sense that Tiamat and the other should be done, Issei said as he and Kuroka teleported to their home. I do residence. Night time. Issei and Kuroka teleported into their home's lounge where they took their seats next to each other on the sofa waiting for the others to come back. Kuroka saw her chance to get a little physical with Issei and decided to lay down on his lap, surprising Issei. What's up? Issei asked. Nothing, I like it here, it's very comfy. Kuroka purred, getting Issei to stroke her chin and dozed off to sleep. Lucky bastard, Balrog said. You'll get used to this, Amorite and I. Rudra? Issei asked the twins. Yes, that is true, and welcome to our host's home, Balrog. And I and Rudra answered, finishing each other's sentences. The twins are under you as well, expected from a descendant of Sparta, Balrog admitted. He even has King Cerberus at his disposal. And I added. Well, doesn't this feel familiar? Balrog said, remembering his stint with Dante. You're pretty honorable for a demon, Issei remarked. Yes, I may be evil by nature, but I will never betray anyone so long as they give me a good fight. I will never fail to meet their conditions, Balrog said. I see, We need more demons like you, Issei said as a Sparta magic circle manifested. Here they are, Issei said as the remaining members of his peerage arrived back. Tiamat, Lavinia and Vala came out of the circle with Vala holding an odd-looking guitar. We're back, Lavinia announced. Oh yeah, Ice, here's your new toy. Vali threw the weapon at Issei. So this is Nevan, good job you three, Issei said as he caught the weapon. She was a tough nut to crack. At first Vali headed straight for her but needed to go into her balance breaker. But after that, she was basically toast. Tiamat explained. Tell me about it. She started monologuing about how your grandpa defeated her. Vali rolled her eyes. Well, the three of you did get it, so it's all good, Issei said as he inspected the weapon. How about you? Did you get Balrog? Vala asked. Yeah, my new earrings are him, Issei said pointing at his ear. Vala walked up to Issei's ear to seemingly look at the accessory, but to his shock and arousal, Vali softly bit and licked his ear. That he's a ton of fun to use. Vali giggled. Someone's horny, is he deadpanned? I know. Vali smirked. Anyway, wanna test this puppy out? Issei said. Ali pouted. All right, she replied. Issei and his peerage went to the training floor and were amazed by the facility Serena had for them. Wow, it's an entire gym and wellness center in here. Issei chuckled. You said it, and there's the sparring area. Vala pointed. By the way, Issei, why didn't you train the Gremry peerage here? Tiamat asked. We trained in Ria's family villa. Only Ria's and Asia know about the new place, so the others are still in the dark. Strange why she didn't suggest using this place. Issei answered. I see, you and Volume 1 spar now. I'm curious about how Nevan functions, Tiamat said. Issei and Volume 1 made their way to the sparring area and prepared. Any rules? Volume 1 asked. Same as always, try not to kill each other, Issei said, strumming Nevan. The weapon fired a bunch of bats that were imbued with electricity and went straight to Vala, the latter blocking it with a small barrier. The hell was that for? Vala yelled. Hey, sorry, I didn't know that a single strum could fire it, Issei shrugged. Alright then, let's go. Vali donned her balance breaker and went straight to Issei. Issei anticipated Vali's move and strummed even again, but longer. It created a barrier of electricity and bats that knocked Vali back once she hit the barrier. Whoa, Issei said in amazement, and started to shred with the guitar. The continuous shredding fired numerous balls of electricity that left Vali zoned out from Issei. As she tried to close the distance, from the barrage of attacks she found an opening and dashed in and was about to hit Issei until he stopped playing and was blocked by Nevan in its side form. Let's rock, Issei said as he launched Vali high up with an upward swing and fired balls of electricity straight at her. Vali, feeling the damage beginning to stack up, decided to yield. Time out. Geez, that thing's annoying, she said as she left the sparring area. If you say so, man, this thing is fun, Issei said as he played a tune. Since when did you know how to play the guitar? Tiamat asked. I don't know, just felt right when I strummed this thing. That or the weapon itself is playing, Issei answered. So, it's a ranged and melee weapon that's shaped like a guitar. These devil arms sure are a strange bunch, Lavinia remarked with Tiamat nodding in agreement. Issei and Vali both took a break from their spar, with the whole peerage discussing how they could improve with each other. Kuroka, come with me for a bit, Issei said. Sure, Kuroka said as she followed Issei to his room. Issei's room. The pair is seen in Issei's room. Kuroka sat down on the bed while Issei was pacing around back and forth. Kuroka, I'm pretty sure that you'll meet Koneko-chan and I get a feeling that it's gonna be very soon, Issei said, dropping a bombshell on Kuroka. What makes you say that? Kuroka asked. Well, considering that Serena built this house with rooms for 2 full peerages, I'm pretty sure that she'll have Ria's peerage move in this place too. Hell, I even saw a room that had one of her members' tastes in room decor, Issei answered. I see, but what will they think of me, especially Shiren? Kuroka said in a sad tone. Look, all we can do is hope for the best. If you want, I can talk to her about it, Issei offered. No. I already have my scent on you. I'm pretty sure she'll be able to know, Kuroka said. All right then. Better go back to your room. I sense that Rias and Asia are here. I wouldn't want her to be on edge so quick, Issei said as Kuroka left his room. Issei then pulled out his phone and dialed Sona's number. Issei? Sona spoke. Hey Sona, are you free tomorrow? Issei asked. Yeah. It's a Sunday tomorrow, so I'm mostly in my home. Sona answered. Perfect. Can I go to your place? I have something to discuss with you, Issei said. All right. You can go here after lunch, Sona said as she hung up. A few moments passed and Rias went inside Issei's room, who was wearing her school uniform despite it being the weekend. Welcome back, Issei greeted. Yeah, and thanks for training us again, Rias said as she pecked Issei on the lips. Anytime, you know my peerage can also help in training the others for specific needs, Issei offered. That would be great. Oh, and Gasper told me that he wants to train under you, Rias said. Issei grinned at the idea of training Gasper again. Of course, I love training with him. He's like the canvas and I am the painter, and when I finish, he will be my masterpiece and your strongest piece. Issei proudly spoke. Wonderful. It's all thanks to you that he's grown out of his shell, Rias sincerely said. No biggie. Issei smiled. Nice earrings, by the way, where'd you get them? Rias asked. I'll tell you later, let's go to sleep first. Their night went on as per usual, with Rias sleeping with Issei and Asia joining in later. I do residence. Morning. Rias and Asia woke up as they wondered where Issei was. They went down the stairs to the kitchen. Rias saw the new residents of the house and was shocked to say the least. I say, when did your peerage move in? Rias asked. Yesterday, Issei answered. Hey there. Hello, hi Naya. Volume 1, Lavinia and Kuroka greeted. Rias took a defensive stance when she noticed Kuroka. And what is she doing in here? Rias said in a cautious tone. Can you eat first? I'll explain everything later, Issei offered as he and his peerage continued eating. Issei, I forgot to tell you last night, Nero and the others are coming today for a visit. Kalina spoke. Oh really? That's a surprise, Issei replied. They're gonna be here by the afternoon. Kalina added. All right then, I'll be going to Sona's place for a bit. I should be back in time for their visit here. I have a few things to talk out with her, Issei said as he wore his coat. Oh, and Rias, don't tell Koneko-chan about Kuroka for now, Issei said as he walked out. Odd, he looks so good with that coat of his, Vali said with a face full of awe. I know, right? So much eye candy in one man, Tiamat remarked. Rias sighed. Should I prepare for more ice? She said to herself. Chotorai residence. Issei rode Cavalier just outside Sona's home. He walked towards the door to knock and waited for an answer. The door opened, revealing Sona, who was wearing hot pants and a loose shirt, surprising Issei. Oh, welcome Issei. You're a little early on our agreed time, but it's all right, Sona said. Yep. I have a few things to ask of you. Sona put a finger on Issei's lips and closed in on him. I also want something from you, and I want some relief, Sona whispered in a sultry tone and pulled Issei in. The pair made their way to Sona's room and made love for 2 hours straight as the pent-up Sona released all her lust onto Issei. Issei and Sona are seen discussing matters in her room, sitting across from each other. 2 of my peerage members want to study in Kwa. The first one is my queen and the other is my new bishop, and that's where I have to talk things over with you, Issei answered in a neutral tone. Bishop? Since when? Sona asked with a confused expression. I'm sure you know Kuroka, the SS class stray devil. Well, former SS class stray devil, Issei said. Former Sona said in an even more confused tone. I had an audience with Lucifer and Beelzebub-sama. Kuroka, Tiamat and I showed them evidence, and they agreed to clear her name. Issei answered, so you're asking to get your 2 pieces into the school? Sona pieced things together. Yes. Issei answered, sure, but what are you gonna do about their legal documents? You must at least have that part covered, Sona said. Oh, I got that part covered, Issei said, handing over 2 documents to Sona. Illyria, Lucci, Kuroka toujours. Sona inspected the documents Issei handed her. So can you get them in? Issei asked. Yeah, expect them to be in your class in 2 days. Sona said. Perfect. Thanks, Sona. Issei said, giving Sona a kiss on the cheek. Sure. Sona said with a blush despite having intercourse just a while ago. See you in school. Issei said and got out. Hi, do residence. Afternoon. Issei teleported directly to his room where he saw curled up Riaz on his bed. Riaz, what's wrong? Issei cautiously asked. Nothing much, just got a little overwhelmed with your family downstairs, Riaz said, amused. Oh. They're here already? Issei asked. Yeah, and they are a rowdy bunch, Riaz said. Why don't we spend some time with them? It's good to meet new people. Issei offered. Sure, but I'm only gonna be there for a while, otherwise I won't be able to handle them at all. Riaz chuckled. Issei and Riaz went downstairs, where they were presented with Issei's peerage, Kalina, Nero, Kiri, Trish, and Nico, who were all having a grand time at their new home. There he is, how you doing, kiddo? Nero greeted. All good, Nero. Issei answered. Hot damn, Lil Sirzechs, you and your girl look good together, Nico remarked. You said it, Kiri nodded. Issei felt pride from all the compliments he was receiving. He took a seat next to Nero whilst Riaz talked over with Kalina and the other women. Life's good, ain't it? Nero struck a conversation. Yeah, but it won't last long, this piece. Might as well enjoy it while we can. Issei said. So, did you get all of Dante's devil arms? I heard from one of your girls that you got all of them. Nero asked. Yeah, got the whole set already. Issei answered as he cycled through all the weapons. Good, by the way, we got a few things for you, Nero said, garnering Issei's curiosity. Really? Issei said in an excited tone, knowing Nico's handicraft. Yeah. Hey, Nico. You can give Issei his new toys, Nero requested. All right. Let me get them, Nico said as she ran out. Nico came back with an odd-looking hat and a pauldron laced with demonic energy. The hat in question has a white exterior with a leather-braided band that has a red barb on its end. The pauldron had a silver finish to it, a skeleton that glows red in the eye sockets on its back side accompanied by skeletal wings. Here you go, Lil Sirzechs, Dante's snazzy hat. Dr. Faust. Made it myself with my dad's research, and Lucifer me. And Nero had to go look around for this piece. This baby fires out spears that detonate after a certain time, Nico explained. Issei put on the hat and had the urge to dance. Fits perfectly, Issei said as a crimson translucent scarf materialized on his neck. What's this? Issei asked. Dr. Faust uses demon blood to function, but in your case, it's leeching off of your magic energy. But it still works the same. Just hit a per soul with a blast from that thing, and it'll give you twice the amount of energy back so long as you don't get hit, Nico explained. Nice. Issei began to dance. Issei performed iconic moves by Miracle Johnson, ranging from the moonwalk to his gravity-defying lean, as the spears from Lucifer backed up the performance with its spears lining up and exploding like fireworks. Just as I said before, he's got all Dante's moves, Nico grinned at the scene. Issei's peerage, Riaz and Asia all intently watched as Issei moved with finesse and had them all slack-jawed and even more attracted to him. He can't use it for now, but it feels great already, Issei said as he put the hat and pauldron away in his pocket to mention. Suddenly, the doorbell in the residence rang. I'll go get it, Kalina spoke, pacing towards the door. Kalina opened the door and was surprised to see Sona, who was holding 2 parcels. Good evening, Mrs. Hyoudou. I'm here to deliver 2 uniforms for his peerage, Sona respectfully spoke. Oh, you didn't have to. You could have just called Issei over, Kalina said, amused. I would have, but I just wanted to see him again. He did come over to my place earlier, Sona answered with a flustered face. Why don't you come in? Issei and my family are in here. Besides, they already know that you're one of Issei's girls. Should be a blast when they finally meet you, Kalina offered. Thank you, I'll take you up on that, Sona said as Kalina gestured for her to enter. Issei. Sona's here to see you. Kalina shouted with Issei going to her. Sona. What are you doing here? Issei asked. I came here to deliver your 2 peerage members' uniforms and to pay you a visit. Sona answered. Well, come on then, Rias and the others are here as well. Sona hesitantly walked with Issei towards the others. She was greeted with surprised looks from Nero and his group. Well, Lil Sirzechs, she looks even better in person. Nico spoke. She's the refined and mature version of you, Nico. Nero chuckled. She's very lovely. Kiri said. I don't know how you do it, kiddo. Trish said, glancing at Issei. A pleasure to meet all of you. Sona bowed. Sona moved to Rias where the two ended up talking with each other, mostly about Issei and devil duties, but she never forgot her initial plan for going. She gave the uniforms to both Vali and Kuroka, and both were surprisingly excited about school. Galina approached Nero, and the two talked about the client Morrison mentioned. So, did Morrison say anything about that client of his? Kalina asked as the pair walked off to a more private space. Nothing yet, but according to him, the Order is involved. Nero said in an ominous tone. The Order? Didn't we take care of them with Dad? Kalina said in confusion. I'm just as confused as you are. Apparently, they can create artificial greater demons now. Nero said. What do we do? Kalina asked. We wait. We can't do this with our father's way of doing these. Nero admitted. The festivities continued with Issei spending some time with Nero as the devil hunter provided Issei with much needed advice and stories of Dante and Virgil. Kalina, who got the opportunity to catch up with Trish and the others, Sona and Rias are chatting with Peerage, who were soon joined by Asia, the latter getting a few lessons from Lavinia. Nero and his group went home. Sona dismissed herself, and the residents soon went into their own rooms except for and Rias, who were talking about a certain pair of cats. So, Ice, where's the explanation you owe me? Rias said sternly. Do you want the long one or short? Answered. Just give me an answer. Rias said in a frustrated tone. All right. Kuroka was wrongly accused. Everything about her case was a huge misunderstanding. Issei opened the table. How so? Rias replied. I dug into her memories and found concrete proof of what really happened in her past. Tiamat and I met with your sister and Ajuka to prove her innocence, and they found everything to be true and eventually cleared Kuroka's name, Issei explained. Show me what you showed to my sister, Rias demanded. Sure. Issei pulled out the same hologram she presented to Serena and Ajuka. The memory hologram played as Rias saw what truly happened between Kuroka and Koneko. As it all played in front of her, Rias had a look of disgust at the experiments that Kuroka's former master performed on her. So she did all of that to protect Koneko. Rias sniffled. Yes, everything, and that's also the reason why I took her in, Issei said. Rias sighed, recomposing herself. All right. But how do you think Koneko will handle this? She asked in a concerned tone. I don't know. All I can ask of you is to make her come here tomorrow after our classes, Issei said. All right, I'm just really concerned for her, Rias said as she and Issei went to his room and went to sleep. Or Klubroom morning? The orc was surprised, to say the least, to see Azazel, who was sitting on Ria's usual chair and wearing a suit that oddly fits him well. From today onwards, Azazel will be the advisor of the Occult Research Club. You all can call me Azazel-sensei, he announced. Why are you here? Ria asked. I'm here under my agreement with Serena Lucifer that I helped you and your peerage grow with their sacred gears and powers. This is also a precaution to have you all prepared if another incident with the Cows Brigade arrives. Azazel explained. I see, Ria said. Forbidden Baylor View, the Holy Demonic Sword, and Twilight Healing. All three of you need to up your game as all of you are strong pieces for your king. Azazel said as Asia, Kiba and Gasper nodded. Azazel, can I take Gasper and Koneko under me? Issei proposed as Gasper's eyes lit up in joy, and Koneko gave them a confused look. Azazel shifted his gaze to Gasper. Do the two of you want to? He asked. Why yes, Azazel-sensei, Issei-senpai gave me the confidence and training to control my powers. Gasper spoke, surprising everyone in the room. I'm fine whichever. Koneko said in her usual monotone voice. Night boy, how long can you last in your balance breaker? Azazel asked. I can keep it active for 2 hours, Kiba answered. Not good enough, you need to keep it up for at least a week straight, Azazel said. Azazel looked at Akino. So Barakiel still hate us? Azazel asked as Akino gave him a scornful look. I'm not planning to forgive him. That man is to blame for my mother's death. Akino scowled. You know, he didn't say a word when you became a devil, he just accepted it, Azazel said. Of course he didn't, he's not in a position where he can say anything, Akino said. I didn't intend to say that. No, maybe it was disrespectful of me to intrude on your private space as a parent and child, Azazel admitted. That man is not my father, Akino exclaimed. Azazel sighed. I see, but I don't see anything wrong with you joining the Gremry clan. I wonder what Barakiel would think if things were different, he said, leaving Akino speechless. All right. That settles it. We'll start at your summer break and get you all prepared for your raiding games, Azazel said. Since when did you know about the raiding games? Issei asked. You'd be surprised to know that other angels and fallen angels are fans of the games, and with the peace treaty into fruition, its popularity only grew, as Azazel explained. Oh, and one more thing. Under the orders of Serena Lucifer, she has requested that the members of the Grimory peerage move into the Red Dragon Emperor's home, Azazel announced, shocking everyone. Well, that confirms why there's a shitload of rooms in the place, Issei deadpanned. Tell me about it. Ria's face spawned. All right. That's all, dismissed. Man, I could get used to saying that, Azazel said, laughing at himself. Koneko approached Issei. Issei-senpai, why did you want me to train under you? She asked. You'll see soon enough, Issei answered. And Echo had a vague idea of what Issei was thinking of as she got a whiff of a very familiar scent on Issei. Everyone left the room except for Issei and Azazel. Issei, how's Vali holding up? Azazel asked. She's doing fine, rare for you to be concerned about her, Issei remarked. Well, I am her adoptive father. It's only natural for me to care for her, Azazel answered as Issei gave him a smile. Despite being a dickhead, you're not so bad, Issei said. I leave her in your care, Issei, Azazel said. Of course, you have my word, Issei said as Azazel patted his shoulder and left the room. I do residence. Afternoon. The Orc members had all their belongings ready to move into their new homes with Issei, Rias, and Asia at the front. Akino was first to go in with her luggage and immediately embraced Issei. Ice-kun, Akino's here. I can finally spend more time with you and be by your side, Akino said. Denovia and Kiba followed. I guess I'll take the room next to Asia, she spoke. I'll get the one next to yours, Gasper-kun. Kiba spoke as he carried a box that contained Gasper in it. Oh, of course, Kiba-senpai, by all means, Gasper said from the box. Koneko was last to enter. Issei-senpai, tell me everything, Koneko said as she went to her designated room. So it begins, Issei said as Rias gave him a worried look. It's not that bad, everyone's here now. Asia cheerfully said, well, this place just got more stuffed. Kalina said, amused. Yeah, at least it won't be as empty as before, Issei said. Night time was upon the Hyoudou residence, as the newly moved-in people settled in. Issei went to Koneko's room. Koneko-chan, could you please come to my room later? Issei said through the door. All right, Koneko said. Are you sure about this, Ice? Rias said. Yeah, just leave it to me, Issei said as he went back to his room. Issei is seen waiting in his room and Koneko knocks on his door. Come in, Issei said. Koneko walked to Issei and sat across him. Issei-senpai, why do I smell my sister on you? Koneko said, going straight to the point. I took her in my peerage, Issei answered. The Grimory Rook sported a worried face. But why? She killed someone from being power drunk, didn't she? Koneko said, ashamed of her sister. Shiren, that's very far from the truth, Issei sternly said, catching the Rook off guard from Issei's use of her real name. What do you mean? Koneko said. Kuroka is innocent. Issei said, shocking Koneko. How? Koneko said. Issei gave Koneko the memory hologram of Kuroka. Koneko saw all the suffering that her sister went through and the last resort she did to prevent her from suffering the same fate as her. She did all of that to protect me, Koneko said as tears flowed from her eyes. Yes, Shiren. Everything was for you, Kuroka spoke, appearing behind Issei and took her seat next to him. But I thought Koneko was cut off. It's okay, I know you're Shiren. You don't have to process everything all at once, Kuroka said gently as she held Koneko in a warm embrace. But I want you to know that I will always be here for you, as your big sister. Everything I have done, all the choices I have made, were for your sake. I wanted you to have a happy and peaceful life, even if it meant sacrificing my own. You mean the world to me, Shiren, and I will do everything in my power to protect you and make sure you are safe. Kuroka wiped away Kaneko's tears with a soft touch, offering her comfort and reassurance in her time of need. Issei could only smile as the two sisters start to build their bond. I am sorry, Wani-sama, Koneko muttered as tears flooded her face. It's okay, Shiren. Let it all out. Kuroka stroked Kaneko's head. After some time of comforting from Kuroka, Koneko calmed down. Kuroka separated from their embrace. Oh, and by the way, Shiren, I'm going to your school, she happily said. I love that, Koneko said with a rare smile. Issei went out of his room where Rias was seemingly waiting for him. How did it go? Rias asked. It's gonna be slow, but they will grow with each other. Koneko-chan won't be as held back as before with Kuroka's help, Issei said. Rias nodded in understanding. That's good to hear. It's gonna be a process for Koneko, but I believe that she can do it. Kuroka seems like a devoted sister, willing to do anything for her, she admitted. Gua Academy, Issei's classroom. Homeroom was about to start as Tiamat entered with a smile full of glee. Attention everyone, we have 2 new transfer students, you may enter, Tiamat said as the 2 new students went inside. Please introduce yourselves, Tiamat said. Hello? I'm Kuroka Tuju. I recently moved to Kwa with my sister and decided to study here. I hope we get along well. Kuroka introduced herself with her cat ears and tails hidden with magic. I'm Valeria Lucci. I'm a transfer student from Spain. Pleased to meet you all. Vala introduced herself, adding her touch to the uniform by wearing a partially zipped-up black hoodie over the uniform. Hey Woo! Our class is so blessed. Boys, we shall never leave this school. Koneko-chan has an older sister. All the boys in the class bellowed in joy. Ice koi! Vali called out and ran to Issei and sat on his lap. Could you get off me, please? Issei deadpanned as the boys in his class gave him glares that could kill. No fair, Vali. Kuroka butted in. Tiamat face-bombed. Lucy-san, Tuja-san, please take your seats behind Hideout-kun. You two can sit next to each other, Tiamat said as a tick mark appeared on her temple. The class went on until lunch break and the perverted duo approached Issei. Issei, why the hell is Tuja and Lucci all close to you? Motohama bellowed. Why don't you ask them? Issei said, pointing at Vala and Kuroka. He's my man, Vala said as she cut Issei's face from behind and gave him a lustful look. He's mine too, Naya. Kuroka said, further infuriating the boys in Issei's class. Anyway, you two follow me to the orc unless you want to be bombarded with questions from everyone in the room, Issei said as Vali and Kuroka grabbed their food and went with him. During their lunch break at school, Kuroka and Vala's arrival caused quite a stir among the student body. The news of their arrival spread like wildfire, and the boys in particular were quick to take notice. They soon dubbed Koneko and Kuroka as the yin-yang mascots of Kwa and referred to the two sisters as the Great One-san of Kwa Academy. But the addition of Volume 1, the trio was ironically named the Holy Trinity of Kwa Academy or Clubroom. Asi along with Kuroka and Volume 1 made their way to the Clubroom where they were greeted by Rias and her peerage who were all doing their usual things. Sup, mind if we crash here for a bit? Issei greeted. You can, though I will admit it is getting crowded in here, Rias said and took a sip out of her tea. Any ideas? Issei asked, taking a seat on one of the couches with Vali swiftly sitting on his lap, much to Kuroka's dismay, who settled to sit next to her sister. How about you start your own club? You can use the club as a front for your supernatural activities as we do in the Orc, Ria suggested, completely ignoring Issei and his peerage's antics. What club can we be? Issei asked. Anything that isn't listed? Ria deadpanned and shrugged. Vali playfully punched Issei's arm. She definitely got that attitude from you. She giggled. Issei pinched Vali's cheek in response. Sure did. Issei had a devious smile on his face. Ow! Vali exclaimed. All right then. If I remember correctly, we have to go to Sona for this type of stuff, right? Issei asked. Yep. So what club will you and your peerage be? Rias asked. Vali, Kuroka? Issei asked his queen and bishop. No idea? Vali and Kuroka answered in unison. Always wanted to try cooking. How about the culinary club? Issei said. That could work. None of the existing clubs is food-focused, so this should be a breath of fresh air for the school. Rias said. All right then, off to Sona we go. Issei said in high spirits and left with Vali and Kuroka. He's awfully happy with that. Akino spoke amused. And really complain, he and Kalina-san are foodies, so a culinary club is perfect for him, Rias replied. Since when have you started imitating him? Akino cried. I sleep on the same bed with him every night. Akino, you really think I won't pick up a few things from him? Rias retorted. Is it now? Or are you just trying to one-up the competition? Akino teased. Shut it, Akino. Rias said with a blush. I can do this all day, Rias. Akino giggled. Student Council Office. Issei along with Vala and Kuroka made their way to the Student Council office where they were about to discuss with Sona the creation of their club. Issei knocked on the door. Enter. Sona's voice answered. Hey, Sona, Tsubaki. Issei greeted. Hello, Issei, Lucy-san, Tuja-san, I hope you find our school in your good graces, and please take a seat. Sona reciprocated the greeting. So, what brings you three here? Sona asked. Issei was about to speak until Vali answered for him. Issei wants to make a club, she answered. That can be arranged. What club are we talking about? Sona asked. The culinary club. Issei answered. For what purpose? Sona pried. You already know, Sona, the same reason why Rios made the orc and to cook food, obviously. Issei shrugged. All right, let me check if that's taken or not. Sona said and pulled out a list. Silence took over the room for a good while as Sona skimmed through the club list to see if Issei's club could be made. Okay, that isn't taken yet. We can make it official now if you want, Sona offered. Sweet, let's do it. Issei said. Sona opened her drawer and pulled out a form. Here, fill out this form and submit it to the faculty office. I've already assigned Timat as your club advisor. Sona said and handed the form over to Issei. All right. Issei answered and filled out the form. That should do it, Issei proudly said, as he finished filling up the form. Off you go to the faculty office then. Sona said as Issei and his peerage left the scene. Either Mayo has just being in the same room with him and his peerage gives me chills. Tsubaki remarked. You said it, but we'll get used to it soon enough. Sona said. Issei is seen walking towards the faculty office with his peerage. Vali, out of curiosity, decided to ask about Issei's decision to make the club. Ice, why do you want to make this club? Vali asked. It's gonna be our little safe haven in school and a little front for our activities out of school. After all, we are a peerage and according to Rias, we need to do devil work. Issei answered. Like what? Vali followed up. Mostly making contracts with humans and the occasional stray devil hunt. Issei answered. Pretty boring if you asked me. Vali scoffed. Not really, you never know if you meet an interesting client, Issei said, recalling his time with Morisawa. Does Shiran go to clients? Kuroka asked in a concerned tone. Yeah, she does. I actually went to one of her usual clients, that being a weeb. He was pretty chill when I watched over Gasper covering for her, Issei answered. Oh, that's good, Kuroka said in relief. Why don't you answer when a summons goes through? Maybe you'll catch her and work with her, Issei proposed. I can, but I don't really know what that man will make me do, Kuroka said, a little skeptical at the thought. Don't worry about it, he'll just make you dress up in anime stuff, and that's about it. Issei answered. Alright then, maybe I'll give it a shot, Kuroka said. Oh, here we are. Issei stopped and knocked at the faculty office's door. The door opened, revealing Tiamat. Hi Dukun, what brings you here? She spoke. Hello, Tia-sensei. We're here to submit a form to make our club, Issei said, presenting the form to Tiamat. Alright, please wait a moment. I'll submit this to administration. Tiamat winked at Issei and walked off. Since when did Tiamat work here? Vali asked out of curiosity. When she became my rook. She wanted to be close to me, and here she is working as a teacher in our school, Issei answered. She's good at it too, Kuroka remarked. Yeah, you wouldn't expect a dragon king to be a natural at teaching, Issei said, amused. Issei and his peerage took a seat at the nearby bench waiting for Tiamat, where the three dozed off for a while until they felt Tiamat's presence, and immediately shot awake. So, how was it? Issei asked. Approved, you'll be situated in the new building nearby the orc, Tiamat said, and gave Issei the form with an approval stamp. New building? Issei asked in confusion. Ria's father runs administrations, so he was ecstatic to say the least when he requested the club and immediately ordered a new building to be made, Tiamat explained. How in the world could they build something that fast? Issei trailed off. What about everyone in here? Won't they notice a new building suddenly pop out of nowhere in the school? Issei said. Magic. Tiamat shrugged. Anyway, break's just begun, let's check it out, Tiamat proposed. The Sparta peerage made their way to the new building and was surprised to find that it was a fairly sized building that'll fit right in with Kwa Academy's motif. And his peerage entered the facility and were pleased to find that the first floor was laid out with elegant-looking decor, and had ample space for a high-end commercial kitchen along with a stock of ingredients to cook with and bake any goods they want. The group made their way up the second and last floor where the club room is in. They entered the room to find a similarly made room with the orc, but bigger in comparison. The room had a 3-part rounded couch and a coffee table in its middle and a couple of chairs in the corner. A luxurious-looking executive chair and the table were seen at the far end of the room, seemingly placed for Issei to sit in. Issei took his seat and put his feet up on the table and took on a relaxed position. Well, didn't think we'd get the clubroom this fast, Issei said, amused. You said it, it's comfy here, Vali remarked as she sat beside Kuroka and Tiamat. There's also a sleeping quarter in here and a shower. This place is basically a house at this point, Tiamat remarked. Ria's dad sure thought of everything, Issei said. A knock was heard from the room. Enter, Issei answered. The door shot open, revealing Ria's, who was accompanied by Sona. Never thought I'd be receiving that from you, Ice, Ria said, amused as she entered the room with Sona and sat down on one of the couches. I could get used to it, Issei chuckled. I guess Ria's father is a fan. I didn't think he'd have this place up in less than an hour, Sona said as she scanned the room. Well, Ice gonna whip something up for us? Rias asked. Sure, Issei stood up and went downstairs. That was easy. Rias deadpanned as the rest of the girls inside laughed. Clearly, he's excited, Vala said. Have an idea of what he's gonna make? Sona asked. Probably curry or burgers, Rias answered. Why so? Sona followed up. Kalina-san filled me in on the family tradition. Apparently, each member of their family, on their side at least, has a go-to food that they simply cannot get enough of. For Dante, Kalina-san's father, it was pizza. Kalina-san herself is a huge fan of curry, while Lissy can never say no to a good burger, Rias explained, a small smile playing on her lips. I learn something new about him every day, Sona said as the others nodded in agreement. But Issei cooking. Issei was adding his finishing touches to the dish he just made and came up to the club room with a cart that carried the food. Alright, here it is, my take on Mom's curry. Issei presented the dish. Issei distributed the food amongst Rias, Sona, and his peerage. Wow, this is really good. Rias said, yeah, it's got strong flavors yet it's well balanced. Sona commented, breaking her stoic demeanor for once. And here I thought Kalina's curry was top-notch. This is a close contender, Tiamat said. It's amazing, shame that Shiran missed out on this. Kuroka said, finishing her plate. Ice, give me more? Vali demanded. Later, we don't have that much time, but you can have the last bite of mine. Issei said as he closed in on Vali, ready to spoon-feed his queen. Say ah, Issei requested. Ah. Vali complied and ate the bite Issei offered. I could get used to this, Vala said with a satisfied face. Always wanted to try that. Issei said amused. No fair, Ice, I want you to do that to me as well, Rias pouted. Me too, the rest of the girls said in unison. Simmer down, the chance will come to you soon, Issei said. Anyway, we should get back, class is starting soon, Issei said as he walked out of the room and the girls followed. As they headed back to class, Issei couldn't help but feel a sense of satisfaction. He had made something truly delicious, and he couldn't wait to share his cooking with more of his friends in the future. Classes resumed for the entirety of the day, and dismissal of the students was done. Issei is seen preparing to leave until Vali struck up a conversation with him. Hey Ice. Vali called out. Yeah? He spoke. Can we go shopping? Vali asked with a blush. We can, for what exactly? Issei said. Clothes, I'm outgrowing my old ones. Vali bashfully said. Sure, why not? Issei replied. The pair walked arm in arm to the mall that was just inside Kwa's main street where they were presented with Koneko and Kuroka at the entrance. Hello, Issei-senpai. Koneko greeted with a smile. Kuroka? Koneko-chan? What are you both doing here? Issei asked. We could ask you two the same, Kuroka spoke. Vali here wanted to buy clothes and then some. Issei answered. We're actually doing the same. I just dragged Shiren along so she could show me around Naya, Kuroka said. I see. Then we'll leave you too. We'll meet you both back at the house. Issei said. See you? Kuroka said as she and Koneko walked off. Issei and Vali walked around the mall and went inside a clothing store. Oddly enough, it was the same clothing store she and Rainer went to on their date. Well, this feels familiar, Issei said amused. What does? Vali asked. This is the same place Rainer and I went to. Issei chuckled. DCH, lucky her. Vali scoffed. See anything you want? Issei asked. Yeah, I already put them in the basket, Vali said while picking up a set of sports underwear. Should I try these on? Vali asked and presented Issei with the set of underwear she found. Vali opened the curtains and seductively posed for Issei. You like what you see, Eyes? Vala said in a sultry tone while wearing the set of underwear she picked out. Vala's athletic physique with muscles that were highlighted in the right places, plus the underwear she was wearing, made Issei's mind go on overdrive. He was used to seeing his queen naked, but the undergarment she wore was more than a treat to his eyes, so much so that his eyes turned golden in color for a short while, indicating that his instincts were slowly taking over him. Issei walked up to Vali in the changing room and pinned her on the wall, the gesture arousing Vali by a huge amount. You better be careful, Vali, you're playing with fire. Issei smirked. She was in a trance for a good amount of time until her senses came to her. You're gonna say that we can't do it here, right? Vali had a smug grin on her face. Correct, this is a public place, and we're no exhibitionists, Issei said amused. Issei lets Vali get changed into her uniform and went to get their items ringed up. Luckily for him, the painting that he got from Azazel before sold beyond the fallen angel's estimate, and set Issei up financially for a good while. The pair got out of the clothing store and thought of other places to go to. Anywhere else you want to go? Issei asked while carrying the clothes Vali bought. Can we grab a bite to eat? I'm still hungry. Vali spoke while her stomach growled. Yeah, I'm hungry myself too, let's go, Issei replied. But first, we need to grab something from the grocery store, Vala said in a serious tone. Issei was greatly dumbfounded by this. What is it? He asked. Get us there first, and I'll see if they have some. Vala glared at her king. Geez, calm down, we'll go there, Issei said. Issei guided Vala towards the grocery store, and his interest was piqued at their arrival. So, what is it you want in here? Issei asked. Instant noodles, Vali shortly answered. And I know why. Issei cried. If you religiously eat burgers, then I religiously eat instant noodles. Vali proudly said. Issei felt that what his queen told him was half true when he saw one of Vali's eyes twitch, but decided to roll with it for now. Alright then, there's a lot of flavors in here, so go crazy. He shrugged. Vala ran around the store with a cart in her hands, and picked out all the brands and flavors she preferred. She then went to her king, who was waiting at the counter with a smile full of glee. What in Sparta's name have you got there? Issei stared wide-eyed at the mountain of instant noodles in Vala's cart. Noodles? Vala answered with a straight face. You'll pay for this, right? Vala asked with puppy dog eyes. Despite Issei's heart and will, he still couldn't resist the adorable look on Vali's face. Sure. We got a lot of money anyway, he said with a small stutter. Where did you even get that much money? Vali asked. Azazel gave me one of his expensive paintings as payment when he bought my porn collection. Issei answered. Right, Vali awkwardly said. Can these be delivered? We don't have a vehicle at the moment. Issei asked the cashier. Yes, please write down the delivery address here. The cashier nervously handed Issei a piece of paper. Issei paid for the noodles and wrote down the address for delivery while adding the clothes that Vali chose for delivery. Now we can go grab some food, Vali said and grabbed Issei's hand. Where do you want to eat? Issei asked. You know spot? Vali asked. Since you like noodles, let's get ramen, Issei said. Alright then, Vali said in high spirits. The pair walked towards the ramen shop with Vala humming a tone. She only does it out of habit when she feels incredibly happy, but in Issei's ears, it puts him at ease despite only knowing her for a short while, as he too feels happy when he's with Vala. They reached the restaurant, where they were immediately met with stares from the students who were also eating at the ramen shop. The pair sit across from each other, where they were met by 2 order forms. What's all this for? Vala asked. You fill it up with what you want, and they'll give it to you after a short while, Issei explained while he finished filling up his form. Here, you can copy mine for starters if you're still confused, he added. I'll do that, Vali said. She copied what Issei wrote and checked the exact same boxes that he did, but she requested that she gets 2 servings in the special request portion of the form. A couple of minutes passed and the pair was served 3 bowls of tonkatsu ramen. Issei took his sweet time enjoying the noodles, but Vali, on the other hand, was a little out of control. Ice, when were noodles this good? Vala said, slurping up a stream of noodles. Ever since they were made, you never had these before? Issei asked. Yeah, I'm familiar with pasta, but this is up there, Vala said. Glad you're enjoying them, but you could slow down a bit, Issei requested. Vala complied, but she was already done with her 2 servings. Okay, oh my bad. Went a little fast there, Vala said and stuck out her tongue. I know they're good, but you have to chill. Issei deadpanned and finished his own bowl. Anywhere else you want to go? Issei added. Nope, I'm all good, we can go home now. Alright, let's go, Issei said. Issei paid for their meal on their way out. The pair walked to an inconspicuous spot in the mall and teleported home. I do residence evening. Issei and Vali teleported just outside their home, leaving Vali confused at her king. Why don't you just teleport us directly inside? Vala asked. It's a common courtesy here to announce your arrival when you reach home, and I've done it so many times. It's second nature to me even if I have powers, Issei answered. I see. Vala shortly answered, thinking of copying what Issei did. We're home, Issei announced. Welcome home, you two. I'm right to assume that you two had fun. Tiamat greeted, surprising Issei. Where's Mom? Issei asked and sat down. She went out for a bit. She didn't tell why, but I assumed that it was business for her since she took her guns and scythe with her. Tiamat answered. So she's back to devil hunting, Issei said. Probably, her getting nicked by that giant demon before surely lit something in her. Tiamat said, amused. So, Vali, how was your date with Issei here? Tiamat asked. Vali's face immediately went red. I had fun, she stuttered. Considering that a boatload of instant noodles and clothes came in for delivery today, you surely spent a lot too. Tiamat giggled. Yeah, Vali's addicted to instant noodles. Issei chuckled. Shut it, will you? You're also addicted to burgers. Vali retorted. Purr. Issei said in defeat. Didn't expect you to lose in a battle of words, partner. Drake spoke as a green light appeared on Issei's left hand. That's one win for us, I guess, Albion said as Vali's sacred gear unfurled from her back. Looks like you and Vali are at it again. Kalina spoke, surprising the three. And where have you been? Issei asked. Hunting devils, as I used to. Kalina shrugged. Sharpening up for that client of yours? Issei asked. Pretty much, Kalina answered. And who the hell buys that many instant noodles? Kalina said, pointing at the mound of noodles. I do. Vali answered, amusing Kalina. Well, doesn't this seem familiar? Kalina giggled, know her family's quirk. That's it, guys. Thanks for listening to my video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and comment below your favorite part. Sayonara, see you in the next video.